It's kind of a magical combination. You have Sarah Lawrence and all of what it offers, and then you have filmmaking, which is an art that's incredibly challenging and exciting. And they meet in a place that basically tells students it's okay to share. So not only do you have an environment that's saying we nurture you as an individual, we nurture you as an artist, we nurture you as an intellectual, as a thinker, then you have an art that says, you know, I have all these things to say. And then both doors open at the same time, and you find yourself in a class where you get to make that experience and then share it with someone. And that, you know, I don't know of very many places that kind of offer such a unique combination. What was that like for you?
Sarah Lawrence is the perfect place to study filmmaking because it involves that sort of creative atmosphere that allows for all of those different areas to come together and put them all into practice in one field.
Exactly. All of the technology and the tools are just that. And it really, you know, comes down to who's in the room. The more diversity you have in the storytelling in the room, I think the more richness you'll have in the classroom. And then you actually have real dialogue about who people are and where they come from and the stories they're bringing to the space. So that you're right, the technology completely just democratizes it. Anyone can pick up the camera. But that's not when the filmmaking begins. It actually starts before anything's actually, you know, pulled out of the box. Yeah, it starts with the idea. So it's really about creating a space where there's an overflow of ideas. And then you learn how to do all the other stuff. That's easy.
It's so important for Sarah Lawrence students to always remember that their creative art is work. It isn't just this hobby that you have and that you do. You have to take it seriously.
The minute students walk through the door, you do take on a sense of responsibility to get them to a place where they feel comfortable enough to share. And then it's painful to get them there and for the obstacle to be something as simple as a couple $100.
You know, I think it was Orson Welles who said that filmmaking is an expensive paint box. And not only that, but you need an army for it too. It isn't just, you know, you by yourself, and it isn't something that you can just suddenly have a desire to do it and just make it happen. There has to be some kind of financial support there.
So all of the work we do in creating this safe space, the safe space of storytelling and having this kind of diverse conversation in the classroom, if funding becomes the issue, then the playing field is completely distorted, and you actually aren't having an honest dialogue about who we all are as a professor, as students, and kind of the countries and states and cities that everyone comes from.
The first film I did for your class, my sophomore year, cost me $1,200 just for the film and just the processing. I wouldn't have been able to make that film.
Absolutely.
I applied for extra money from the dean's office, and Al Green awarded me money to help me finish the production.
I had work study as well. I think I worked in the campus gym, and I can remember, it wasn't a lot of money, but I can physically remember cashing a check at Citibank in Bronxville from work study, using the money and going directly to Kodak in Midtown Manhattan and buying only the 4 rolls of film that I could afford to make this project. And those were like the most precious 4 rolls of film you could ever imagine, because I actually had an understanding of what it took to get them. It didn't matter at that point that, you know, I was a student. In that moment I was a storyteller, and I'd produced something, and then the gratification, you get to share it and inspire people. When you feel like you can't get something done because you're creatively stumped, or you can't get a location, or your storyboards aren't working, those are the walls that I welcome in the classroom, and those are the teaching moments. That is the process. That is filmmaking. But this is also the place that should never create the wall of, you know, actually getting it done because you can't afford it. Like that wall is the wall that shouldn't exist.